Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of Death of a Loved One, including crossovers and things of that nature. I wanted to, in the second part of this topic, discuss something that many people are worried about and that seems to concern them. And that is, did my loved one feel pain when they passed over? Now, this is a tricky subject because if a person passed away from a disease that was painful, like many cancers are painful, obviously in the physical body, while they were suffering from that disease, they would have felt pain, yes. So the overall process, there would have been pain involved. But the moment of death, the moment of transition, that is never painful. I once did a reading many years ago, 20 years ago, for an Australian man who had come for a reading in South Africa, and his late wife came through, and he basically, you know, when I said to him, your late wife wants to talk to you, it was like, oh my word, really, a long time ago. And there were other details in that reading which are confidential as to why this happened. But the short story is that she set herself alight in a national park in Australia. And she chose to end her life in a very dramatic and very painful way because she was angry, and she was not really in her right mind at the time. But even she, okay, and I think that kind of a death is probably the most painful one of the most painful deaths that one can imagine. Even she said to me and said to him and reassured him that she felt very little pain. She said she felt pain for a few seconds, and then thereafter, you know, if her body was responding in a certain way, etc., it wasn't her anymore. She was out of her body by that stage. All right. So if a person is meant to pass away in a certain incident or in a certain way, they are often either coming out of the body, the physical body, just before that happens, or very quickly as it is happening. So most often, there is no pain at all, or very little pain experienced. We tend to think that, well, they must have felt pain because, if we have an accident or we have a painful experience and we survive it, we know just how painful that experience was, or how painful that incident or that accident or whatever was. However, when a person is meant to pass in that incident or that accident, no, the pain is very seldom something that is experienced. So this is one thing that tends to worry loved ones that are left behind a lot. So please don't let that be of great concern to you. The other thing that many people express to me is, what do my loved ones want from me? You know, they seem confused as to, you know, what is this, the person who's passed, what do they want from me? And there's very little, actually, that they want from us, other than for us to live our lives to the full. The last thing that they want is for us to be grieving uncontrollably for too long, putting our own lives on hold, for us to be unhappy, for us to lead an unfulfilled life. merely because they have passed away and they are no longer with us in the physical. That is the very, very last thing that they would want. And think about it, if you passed over, would you want your loved ones to be doing that? No, you wouldn't. So in their view, they just want us to be happy, safe, and to live our lives to the absolute full until we do see them again. Every now and then, somebody will express a concern about, what does this person think of this or that that's going on here, or something that happened here in the physical. For example, I had a lady who came to me for a reading, and her father came through and he said, I'm still in the cupboard, in the box at the crematorium, the funeral home. He had been cremated many, many years before that, and then his remains were in a cupboard in the funeral home, and were at the crematorium. And he said every now and then the lady opens the cupboard, sees I'm still there, and when are you coming to fetch me? And she was mortified. She was so embarrassed. And she said, it sounds so terrible, she said, but, we scattered all over South Africa, my sisters and I, and we haven't had a chance. We didn't have a chance. We left it so long, and then we were too embarrassed to go and fetch it. So nobody's fetched him. So I said, well, he is still there, but he says that the lady is soon. She's going, because it's been a long time, it's been a few years. She is soon going to scatter him in the Garden of Remembrance there if he's not collected, and he would prefer it that he's collected. And so they did. They organized for his remains to be collected. Now, they don't, they're not overly concerned about what happens with their remains, their earthly remains, their ashes, or their body. They do prefer it if their wishes are followed and honoured. So, if somebody wanted their ashes scattered in their favourite place, or, they wanted a certain type of burial or a certain type of memorial, yes, they do prefer it if we honour their wishes. But if it's not possible, for whatever reason, to honour those wishes, my late boyfriend wanted a burial at sea. Well, he didn't know exactly how expensive a burial at sea is. So that was an impossibility. And so, after his cremation, his ashes were scattered in the sea at Kalk Bay. And, partly in Kalk Bay and partly in Umhlanga, where his mother went to go and live. So you honour their wishes in the best way possible. Obviously finances allowing. They will never want you to do anything that would compromise your financial safety and security if you cannot afford to do something in particular that they expressed a wish for. As long as their remains are honoured or treated with respect, they're fine. Okay, I had one old gentleman come through and he started laughing almost straight away, and he said, ask her about the box. And he said, don't worry, I'm enjoying the view. And I told his daughter this, and she burst out laughing, and she said, after Dad died, we had him cremated, and my sister and I went to a beautiful natural area. I think she said it was God's window, I'm not sure, but anyway, it was some natural, beautiful area with a cliff, with a beautiful view. And they decided to scatter his ashes there. And by mistake, in the scattering process, the whole box went off the edge of the cliff, and it bounced further down the cliff where you can't get to, and it landed on a ledge. And they were absolutely, they didn't know what to do. They couldn't reach it. And it was stuck there. It was there for good. And he thought this was incredibly funny. And he thought it made for a good story. So he wasn't upset in any way, you know. I've had one lady come through and said, don't worry about moving me. It's quite okay. Don't stress about it. Don't worry about disturbing my resting place. And her sister, something had happened in the cemetery where they had to, there was a whole lot of redoing and whatever, and her sister's ashes had been scattered on the graves of her children that had been killed in a car accident. And this poor lady had committed suicide after the death of her children a few years later, and her ashes had been scattered on top of the children's graves. And then the concrete, and I don't know, something started going wrong with it had needed to be reinforced, redone, the tops around of the graves. And her sister was very concerned that now they've scattered her there and now she's going to be disturbed, you know, in this moving around process and cleaning up and whatever. And her sister came through to tell her that it's quite okay. You needn't worry. You really mustn't stress yourself over this. So the only time that I've seen where a person is at all concerned about their physical vehicle, their body that has been left behind, is if the body has not been found, okay, and their family have not been able to rest as a result, and they haven't been able to get closure, especially if there was foul play involved, if there was a murder of any kind or anything like that, or desecration of the body, that they do, you know, they don't take kindly to that. They obviously, they're not happy about that. But it doesn't stop them from moving on or from being happy where they are. You know, they can still sort of have an opinion on the subject, but it wouldn't necessarily, well, it wouldn't stop them from evolving on that side, or cause them to get stuck in any kind of limbo. I've had people come to me, and during the reading, someone will come through and say it's okay to sell the house. You know, you're all trying to hang on to the house, and it's causing you a lot of financial stress, and it's too big for you guys to maintain. If it's one partner, elderly partner left behind, and it's like, it's okay. You don't have to hold on to that house or that property because of the memories that, you know, because you think I would be unhappy if you sold it or if you got rid of it. Absolutely not. You know, what's left in the physical remains in the physical, and they're not really worried about it at all. Every now and then, I have had somebody say, you know, I expressly told people I wanted so-and-so to have my spoon collection. And how come so-and-so's got it? You know, and I would like it, I would have preferred that it went to so-and-so, you know, to the other person. I have had that, you know, so they have opinions, but it doesn't stop them or, you know, it doesn't make them so unhappy that about the situation that it would have any great effect on them in the spiritual. So I welcome any other questions, comments, anything like that. If you'd like me to broach a particular topic when it comes to the death of a loved one, please feel free to either comment in the comment section, inbox me, comment on my Facebook page, whatever, and hopefully I will see it, and we can address that particular topic for you. Okay, have a good day. Bye.